Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
It's Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. I'm your host, Omobola Stephen, on the show today. Now, Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen is a self-improvement, personal development podcast with the occasion of great guests, amazing and incredible guests who come to the show to share their insight on topics and subjects under personal development. I've had amazing and incredible guests come to the show to share their profound insight on topics and subjects under personal development. Today, I have Darcy Luoma, who is a master certified coach, a dynamic facilitator, and inspiring motivational speaker. Welcome on the show with me today, Darcy.
Thank you. It is such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Darcy. Looking forward to your professional insight on the topics of discussion for today. Darcy, tell me, how is the transition like from being a career woman with incredible portfolios to owning your own coaching and consulting company?
Yes, it is both fantastic and hard, as you might imagine. So I spent probably 2 decades working in politics and campaigns and nonprofits. And then in 2013, launched my full-time business. And I love having my own company where I can focus on my passion and I can really design the work that I love. The flip side is it's hard, when there's a global pandemic and the world is in a place of uncertainty, the paycheck doesn't keep coming unless you get creative. And so in the last 18 months, we've gotten very creative in doing all of our services, keynotes, coaching, training virtually. And there's been a lot of silver linings to that as well.
Great. So I wanted you to tell me more about Thoughtfully Fit.
Yes, Thoughtfully Fit is the leadership and coaching model that I developed after thousands of hours of coaching individuals, women, leaders, executives. And I started to notice that there were these themes that kept coming up over and over and over again with my clients on where they get stuck. And so I spent a couple of years doing a deep dive on research and categorizing all of the topics and challenges that my clients would bring into coaching. And we found that there are 6 hurdles that every client struggles with. And the 6 hurdles are the basis for the Thoughtfully Fit model. And there's 6 practices and how you can overcome those hurdles in order to be high achieving. And it's just like if you're physically fit, you need to train and practice in the same way. If you want to handle yourself thoughtfully so that you can overcome those challenges, you need to train and practice. And so at the core of the model are 3 simple steps that help you to be able to handle yourself when you're blindsided, when there's conflict, when there's uncertainty. And it's simply, and this is the core. And so to engage your core, you have to pause, think, and then act. Instead of acting and then later thinking, oh, why did I do that? That wasn't the best way for me to handle that situation. And then having to go back and clean up the mess from not handling it thoughtfully in the first place.
Sure, you're right. Great. Darcy, you went through something quite traumatic. What advice do you want to share with anyone who's going through tough times?
Yes. As I was developing the Thoughtfully Fit model, I was testing it with my clients, and it was a Saturday in March of 2016. We finalized it, and I was so excited because after years of development, it officially came to life. And then 5 days later, I had my own personal nightmare happen when I got a phone call from my neighbor asking me what was going on at my house. She said there were 40 or 50 police cars and a SWAT team with guns, and they had just taken my husband out in handcuffs. And it was the beginning of the worst ever situation I've ever gone through. My husband was arrested for sexual assault of a minor he had met online. He was a full-time stay-at-home dad. And when he left that day, he never came home. He was ultimately sentenced to prison. And I had to also hire an attorney. And my attorney said, don't talk to anybody about anything. The charges are so severe. And so I became ground zero to test drive Thoughtfully Fit and this model, and pausing and thinking before I act in my own life. And it helped me every step of the way to be able to navigate this huge challenge that I was dealing with. That's what the Thoughtfully Fit book outlines, is how I use the model in my own life, and then give strategies and tools on how others can use it in their life for maybe big challenges, but also small things where maybe you get triggered because you have a colleague who is frustrating you all the time, or maybe there's a tension in your marriage. And so the Thoughtfully Fit practices can be used for small and big challenges.
Right. So where can your book be accessed?
Yeah. So the book is all over on Amazon and Audible and anywhere you buy your books. And if anybody is interested, thoughtfullyfit.com has a 2 or 3 minute quiz. If anybody's curious, like, wait, what are these 6 hurdles? And I want to go deeper, you can go to thoughtfullyfit.com and take this quiz, and it will give you your biggest hurdle. What is the biggest challenge of these 6 that you struggle with? And then some strategies on how you can overcome that hurdle in your own life. And thoughtfullyfit.com also has links to all of the places where you can buy the book.
Great. Daisy, tell me the top 5 things most successful leaders do automatically every day.
I would say, one of the things, we were just talking about engaging your core. I think successful leaders are able to pause and think before they act. So they are thoughtful and not reactive. They're strategic and intentional. I think the strongest leaders are able to empower and lift others up and build a strong team and be more effective because they have inspired others and lifted them up. And so they can accomplish greater things than they could just going it alone. And I think also the highest performing leaders have a vision. They know where they're going. They aren't just making it up as they go, but they've got a vision, and then they work to make sure that everybody on the team is rowing in the same direction towards that vision.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that insight, right, Daisy. So now, what determines success in life? Do you have any?
What determines?
You want to share on that?
Yep. And it was just cutting out a little bit. So sorry. It was just cutting. It was just cutting out a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
All right. What determines success in life? Do you have any insight or personal experience you'd like to share?
On what creates success in life?
No, what determines success in life?
Oh, what determines success?
Yeah.
Well, I am a coach at heart, and I am a coach by trade. And in coaching, it's very different than mentoring or teaching or advising or consulting, because when you're coaching somebody, you hold them as the expert in their life, as opposed to, if I'm the mentor, I'm the expert. I've been there, I've done that. Let me tell you, Omobola, what you need to do. And so I really hold a strong belief that success is determined by the beholder, and that what success looks like for one person is very different than what it looks like for the next person. And that when you can identify your vision for your life and what success looks like for your life, and then clear the obstacles, you can be successful. And that might be for one person that they want to rise through the ranks and become the CEO of a company. And for someone else, it might mean that they are the most present mom or dad that they can be.
Right. So, Darcy, do you like to share the top 3 things a person can start doing now, right, to achieve success in what they do?
The top 3 things someone can do right now to be successful?
To achieve success in what they do.
Repeat the second part one more time.
All right. I want you to tell me the top 3 things a person can start doing now in order to achieve success in what they do.
Yeah. So I think, to sound like a broken record, I would go back to the top 3 steps of engaging your core, and to pause and think before acting. Because it works. It helps you to be able to live an intentional life, and be able to not only not overreact, right? So everybody has a default of one of these 3 that they do most naturally. And so some people are really good at the pause, but our strengths, when they're taken to the extreme, become a weakness. And so you're good at pausing, but then that pause becomes a 5-hour Netflix binge. Other people their strength is the think, and they're really good at analyzing and coming up with different ways to think about something. And yet that becomes a weakness when they overanalyze and they get analysis paralysis. And instead of just thinking about options A, B, and C, they keep cycling and thinking of options D, E, F, and G. And they never pull the trigger to execute whatever it is that they want to do. So for instance, somebody realizes they're in a challenging relationship, and they pause. Instead of just like, oh, you're making me mad, they pause. They think, okay, I need to have a conversation. I need to let them know what's hard about this for me. And they come up with their talking points, but then they keep thinking, well, no, that's not right. Oh, maybe I should say something different. They keep thinking and thinking, and never quite getting to actually having the conversation. And then the final, some people are really strong at acting. They're good under pressure and they can act well, but taken to the extreme, they react and act impulsively. And then they have to go back and clean up the mess. And so I think the 3 steps are that people can do all of those 3 in order, and then wash, rinse, repeat, right? So then after you've acted, then you go back and pause and think about, how did that go? Did I get the results that I wanted? And if not, then what would make this situation better? And then go back and act again.
Right. Darcy, I know that you're a woman of many parts, right? You wear many hats. Now, we talk about work-life balance, right? Especially in this era of change and this 21st century. Now, work-life balance is a cycle and not an achievement, right? Do you